Of all movie opening scenes, which one sold the entire film? The Godfather. I think the scene where Bonacera asks Don Corleone for justice sets up our perspective about the Don pretty well. In that scene we instantly learn everything that Don Vito Corleone stood for. Edit. Spelling. The Matrix. I thought Trinity was the villain. Children of Men, especially if you've never read the book. Holy cow, that was powerful. Shaun of the Dead. Scream has an incredible opening scene. 28 weeks later. Spaceballs. That ship going by for 5 minutes or more had me rolling and I never stopped laughing throughout that entire film this year. Gladiator 2000. That battle was incredible. Great dialogue, excellent music, human moments. Speed. I Am Speed. The Departed. Powerful footage and commentary did such a great job of kicking it off, while giving a glimpse into what propelled Matt Damon's character into his entry into the criminal family. Then the line, "When I was your age they would say we can become cops or criminals. Today, what I'm saying to you is this. When you're facing a loaded gun, what's the difference?" Quote. Felt that was perfectly within the spirit of the entire movie, and sets the stage for what I consider to be one of the best films ever made. Jaws. You never see the shark in the first attack, just the knowledge that there's something under the water. Brilliant. American Psycho. I remember listening to him list out every single thing he does to groom himself in the morning, and I thought, what a psycho, then thought, ooh, I get it. Blade. Blood Rave. Terminator 2. Starting with scenes of bustling everyday life, rush hour traffic, kids playing, etc. Then white flash to the same burnout playground in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Sarah's somber voiceover explaining how it happened. We see a brutal battle between man and machine. Tanks and Terminators crushing human bones under metal treads and feet. We briefly meet the steely face of the human resistance and savior of mankind right before segueing into the opening credits, finishing with an Endo skull grinning through the flames. Fuck yeah? Tell me that doesn't get you pumped right there even just reading it. GoldenEye. The Prince of Egypt starting off with Deliver Us was absolutely jaw-dropping. I can't think of a single stronger opening in any of the movies I've ever watched. Granted, that isn't a lot because I'm not a big movie person, but still. The opening of X-Men 2 is so good. Nightcrawler kicking the shit out of the entire White House security and nearly assassinating the president, while intense choir music plays in the background. Legendary. Jurassic Park. It really sets the tone for the movie and the foreshadowing gives you a creepy feeling leading up to the storm this year. Snatch. Super Troopers. Asterisk Fellowship of the Ring asterisk. Set a great tone for all of what was to come. Pirates of the Caribbean. Curse of the Black Pearl. The opening scene on the boat in the fog with the young Will and Elizabeth perfectly captures how hilarious, spooky, and kick-ass the rest of the movie is going to be. Also the first Lord of the Rings. So intense and on a massive scale only to be followed by the Happy Shire scenes. The opening scene to V for Vendetta with How We Meet V. The V-word speech was pretty epic also. Shrek. No kidding. The first time I saw it I was so invested after the opening scene. Lord of War. The opening credits follow the life of a bullet. It's manufactured, quality-checked, packed into a box and then shipped off to an African nation where it gets loaded into a gun and shot into the head of a child soldier. And then we meet the protagonist, Yuri, Nick Cage, standing on a floor of empty casings. Says there's 550 million firearms in the world. One for every 12th person on the planet. Takes a drag on his cigarette and asks, how do we arm the other 11? AskReddit misremembered the order of the scenes, as a few people have pointed out. Yuri's monologue about one gun for every 12th person, then the life of a bullet sequence. Also, thanks for the golds and silvers. Saving Private Ryan. The THX intro. Pulp Fiction. I was 14 when I saw it, and the opening scene just completely blew me away. The Lion King, 1994. Apocalypse Now. Kingsman. Set up the ridiculousness yet stylish action perfectly. Has no one mentioned Full Metal Jacket yet? Exclamation mark. Question mark. Exclamation mark. Up. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Are you suggesting coconuts migrate? Quote. The opening of Serenity was a stunningly tight exposition. In minutes you are given an overview of the verse and what its central conflict is. You are also given the antagonist, the operative, and how coldly pragmatic he is. You are shown just how much Simon cares for River. Are given the whole layout of the ship. You are introduced to all the characters and see, by their interactions, their core beliefs and roles. There are some great openings listed in this thread, but I don't know that any of them hit the density of exposition as does Serenity. Contact. I think the opening scene, first chapter, of Inglourious Basterds sets up the villain, Hans Landa, perfectly. Watchmen. X-Men 2. That Nightcrawler opening still holds up. Team America. World Police opened strong and sold the audience on the marionette performance to come. The Fifth Element. Django Unchained. The way Christoph Waltz introduces Dr. Schultz gives me chills. He is so charismatic and intelligent, yet deadly. All-time favorite movie. And was very surprised at how well Jamie Foxx did as well. Reservoir Dogs. Nightmare Before Christmas. Everyone knows the intro. Toy Story 2. Buzz Lightyear infiltrating Emperor Zurg's fortress. But you find out later it's Rex playing SNES. The first scene of Baby Driver. Many really good suggestions here, but I can't see Drive mentioned. After an action-packed chase scene you get a cool one-shot of Gosling driving home, with the excellent Night Call playing. The first 10 minutes alone is a good enough reason to watch the movie. The Cabin in the Woods. The introduction of Hadley and Sitterson and their casual work banner is absolutely brilliant. It's gonna be a real long weekend if everybody is this puckered up. Are you even listening to me? Quote. The Matrix opening with Trinity was filmed with the entire original budget to convince the studio that they weren't fucking around. Jurassic Park's opening scene is all the genius of 90s Spielberg refined. Top Gun. The chord hits you at 0:12. You see the title at 1 minute and are immediately on the launch deck. Can't believe I'm first with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Also, no, Star Wars. Single quote. I'm admittedly a sucker for the opening of Revenge of the Sith. The drums then leading into the flight through the Battle of Coruscant was so cool as a kid. And it's stuck with me since. Boogie Nights. It's a beautifully executed long tracking shot, and it introduces pretty much every major character in the film, finally culminating on a slow-mo zoom in on Dirk Diggler, or Eddie as he's known at this point. I just knew I was going to love it based on the genius of that opening shot. Never mind the opening scene, the opening credits of SE7E and sold it for me. Everyone here mentioning Fellowship of the Ring seemed to be forgetting about that time the camera flew through a mountain to a pit where a pair of basically gods were duking it out while falling to their almost certain deaths. Definitely The Shining. You get the dramatic music with the lonely car driving into the mountains of nowhere. really is an iconic beginning to a movie and definitely set the tone that wherever that car is going, it's not going to be a vacation to Disneyland. Kind of cheating, but the first scene and a half of Arrival, the opening scene showing her daughter's life and then the intro to her being a linguistic anthropologist, is perfect way to show that this isn't just another alien invasion movie. 2001, A Space Odyssey. I was born way after the film debuted, but the opening is stunning even to a person who's used to advanced special effects. For me, it's Saving Private Ryan. The black and white Frankenstein intro for Van Helsing, the one with Hugh Jackman, made me invested in the rest of the film. This year the rest of the film was kind of terrible, but I still remember it fondly on the strength of that opening. Edit. So people love this movie. Huh. Far be it from me to criticize anyone else's choice in cheesy film. I mean, I took my username from the kind of movie one watches on Mystery Science Theater. I think what made me disappointed with the rest of Van Helsing is just that intro is so good. Everything I want out of a monster movie in something like 10 minutes. The opening robbery scene in The Dark Knight. Guardians of the Galaxy. Once Upon a Time in the West. The opening scene of Cube was absolutely amazing. Did everything an opening scene should. It gave you the concept of the movie while leaving you asking questions and leaving plenty of room for story development. Pity that movie had a terrible sequel that really doesn't do the original justice. Here's the link. The movie is a masterpiece, definitely worth the watch.